Androstras was a red dragon sleeping in a cavern in Sylphus they had in Benaria. And then Steve was like, I don't know.
He's just having a sleep.
I don't know who that is. Obviously aware of it. But it's just like, no, we had no plans for that. That was no, like, if it was just like a reference to people, because the people were pointing out as like, I think it was the name of like someone's like children or something like that maybe was a possibility in the dev team. But the devs had long since left. They're like, we have no idea what's in there. That said, if we think of any ideas, and he specifically said even if like some of the quest designers or like watch this interview and think they had an idea for it, then we might do something in future. But
can we just not use that as an example of game development at scale?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, we think about all this stuff, and like, you know, for us, how many people are in the company now?
I couldn't tell you. It's too big a number.
It's getting close to 20.
Yeah.
God, that's terrifying. Yeah. I mean, we were able to have an entire banquet table at the Christmas party, but it still is a level of flatness that, like, if someone wants to reach me, they just go and reach me, or Thomas, or you know, anything. Anyone can reach anybody, right? It's like small and pretty flat. Whereas with this, it's like your average quest designer, it's going to be like, oh, when do we next hear from the Steve? We finally, we have blessed words from the Steve.
Stone tablet has made its way from Lead Mountain.
Okay, that's an exaggeration. But, like, there's a lot of quest designers in a game like WoW, and yeah, they'll obviously be spending time with Steve, but it's even just the idea of, like, sure, like, he's the maybe key decision maker for something, but how many, like, people are working, you know, like, on stuff that technically he's in charge of because it's narrative?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Quest designers.
It just makes you... It makes you just realize the scale again.
Yeah, quest designers not being narrative. As far as the team goes,
people working on WoW at least.
Yeah,
It's a lot of people. It's approaching. I guess that's like approaching Ubisoft tiers.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
You know, it does actually bode pretty well for the future, doesn't it?
If they can handle that regularly and they can afford it, and Blizzard doesn't come in and go, where's all the money you promised us for giving you 700 devs? That hasn't materialized. There are long-term issues that could crop up, but as long as they've budgeted that and it actually makes sense, because World of Warcraft's somehow still making crazy stupid levels of money, or it's like a bet that they have to like train people up and get them familiar with Warcraft and then move on to other Warcraft adjacent projects, like obviously John Hight's general manager of the Warcraft franchise, and there's not really much, so there's maybe other plans they have for those developers. Yeah. But I think it's it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's maybe a dangerous amount.
Well, from what I understand, there are points at which an expansion such as this would have been seen as a pretty stupid, you know, not worth the opportunity cost of those people working on a new IP or a different game. Mm-hmm. But I think there has been a profound realization that even though WoW has been going through its ups and its downs, it has perhaps provided that company with a baseline of success that has saved its ass every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they've had that realization that no, actually, instead of hedging their bets on World of Warcraft's decline by expanding into other things, they need to double down on World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Which, hey, look at Activision. Mm-hmm. That's what they did with Call of Duty, and it's a big franchise. They doubled down. Sometimes you need to know when to double down and when to hedge your bets.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a cash cow like World of Warcraft, you got to feed that sucker.
Indeed.
And as for Steve's favorite flight, intellectually the bronze, because time's cool to think about. I agree with you.
Very true.
And he has a fondness for the origins of the Black Flight, nobility and strength in being the Earth Waters taking on the challenge. And I actually have the same preferences as Steve.
Yeah, no.
Should I better check my Amazon wish list?
Oh no.
You made that tweet with full knowledge, man.
Yeah, no, I don't particularly enjoy many of the Dragonflights, because I suppose because the blue were cool, but I never liked Malagos. He's a bit too much of a Redditor, basically. And Kalagos is baby Redditor. He's a Star Wars Redditor family, etc. The red, I don't really like the red very much. They're all right. I think the only flight I really like are the green. But that's just because I love the nature connections in World of Warcraft because I am just a druid. I'm just a druid at heart. I think there's no getting around it. That's the stuff I like the most. I like the Night Elves. I like the Tauren. I like the connections to the moon, to the sun. I like the Emerald Dream. I've always loved the Emerald Dream. I always think that's the best stuff. Emerald Nightmare is kind of disappointing in Legion, but that's just because Val'sharad was a retelling of the book with the Stormrage, which sucked, Blizzard, and you should still be ashamed of that. And I would love to have an interview with Steve and say, hey, Steve, why was Val'sharad just a retelling of Stormrage? Which one's canon?
He's breaking his containment protocol.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, that's stuff I generally quite enjoy the Queen for that. But yeah, that was felt like good questions, and here well delivered. It was a good conversation as well as a good that's good. It was like obviously they bounced off the questions and brought them together pretty nicely. It was a good interview, and props to Steve. I think Steve gave a hell of an interview.
He sure did.
He's getting. So I remember a couple times not really super enjoying like the first couple of my seen, but generally picked it up really quick.
Oh yeah,
and now they're really really fun to hear him talk about.
Yeah, he big comes off as a natural.
Yep, indeed.
All that.